this computer. It's recording. Yay. So welcome to tonight's
can you hear me too?
Christine's got a hand up too.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, here you go. You
can you hear me?
People
I can hear you. Yes,
Hmm.
people are in the waiting room. Yes.
Mint. Ah, Sarah Wake is. Oh, Meg Williams. Look at you guys. You're sitting in the waiting room. Sorry, I was sharing a screen and I couldn't see you to admit to you. So apology, guys. They're connecting in now. So please let me know if there is more coming in. Ooh, can I let them in? I don't know how to do that. Anyway, let's get back to my audio tonight. So we're sharing the Atomic Habits book. And I will share my screen. Hope you all can see that. Kylie, give me a thumbs up. I can see you. Excellent. Yay! So, yeah, one of my morning, my habits that I just had in my head was I'm not a morning person. This was probably about 10 years ago. And, you know, with a bit of PD and some good books, I changed that. So now I set an alarm on my phone and I move my phone to the kitchen. So it's in the kitchen and it makes an alarm and my kids are all asleep. So if I don't get up and get to my phone to turn it off, it'll wake all the kids up. So that would be my insanity of the day if they all woke up at 5:30. So that would be bad. So I get up, I go and turn my phone off and I make a cup of coffee. And my reward for that habit is I get to drink the coffee by myself and I get to spend an hour doing my own stuff, whether it's paying bills, organising myself, doing school lunches, you know, actually having the shower and washing my hair. Or getting ready for my week ahead. I do plan some of my my Facebook VIP group posts in that morning gap, and I do orders in that gap. And sometimes I draft text, I reach out with my phone on, you know, airplane mode, so they go out when I go to work at like 8 o'clock, a bit more of a logical hour for people. So that is my sanity. So if I missed my 5:30 alarm, and on the weekends it doesn't go off, you know, my day just unravels and I just feel out of whack completely. So it is, you have one life, and we will see where you see yourself in 5 years. So tonight we're going to talk about 5 quick points, how to shape your habit, how your habits shape your identity, how to build better habits, the 2-minute rule, which is a bit like the Mel Robbins 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The habit stacking, which makes it easier. And of course, motivation is overrated. It generally is more impacted by your environment. So yeah, we'll talk about that coming up. So in the introduction, we've got small habits make a big difference. So I might read, sorry, the cough, a little bit out of the book. So this is just chapter 1. It says it's about a British cycling team. And it says the fate of British cycling changed in one day in 2003. The organisation, which was the governing body for professional cycling in Great Britain, had hired a new performance director. At the time, the cyclists in Great Britain had endured nearly 100 years of mediocrity. So really bad at riding bikes, right? 100 years. So they'd won one single gold medal at the Olympic Games and fared even worse in the cycling's biggest race, the Tour de France, which you've probably heard of. So, in fact, they've been so underwhelmed with the top manufacturers in the bikes in Europe refused to sell them to the teams, etc. So basically, they hired a new guy, and his relentless commitment to strategy was referred to the aggravation of marginal gain. So, which is a philosophy of searching for tiny margins of improvement in everything we do. And the whole principle, if you break it down, pretty much, you know, they just broke down what was riding made up of and actually thought he'd improve it by 1%. So you've got 1% better. So 1% better every day for 1 year. You go, you know, 37% better over a whole year. But if you do 1% less, you actually only do 0.03% worse. So that can see that the good stuff compounds. So this is what the guy did. So basically he made minor adjustments to the small things of cycling. They redesigned the bike seats to make them more comfortable. They rubbed alcohol on the tyres for better grip. They asked riders to wear electrically heated overshorts to maintain ideal muscle temperature. while riding, and they used biofeed sensors to monitor how each athlete responded to a particular workout. They tested for fabrics in the wind tunnel. They had their outdoor riders switch to indoor rider suits, but they didn't stop there. They found 1% improvements in all areas. Some types of massage gel led to fastest muscle recovery, and they used to wash their hands better. They got someone to show them how to wash their hands better. I mean, this is a while ago. This is pre-COVID, when people didn't really wash their hands, and it actually stopped. The impact of that was it stopped the guys getting sick, so they were training more often and more continuously. So they'd get better because they weren't having time off. So it is amazing. So in just over 5 years, Brailsford took the British cycling team to domination. They dominated the track and cyclist events in 2008 Olympics. They won 60% of the gold medals. 4 years later, the Olympics came to London. They raised the bar, winning 9 Olympic records and 7 world records. The next, Bradley Wiggins became the first British cyclist to win Tour de France. His teammate Chris Froome won the race, and he would go on to win it again in 2015, 16 and 17. And the British, they won for the next 6 years in a row. So basically, from when this guy took over and changed the habits by 1%, they, 10 years from 2007 to 2017, British cycling won 178 world championships and 66 Olympics and Paralympic gold medals. So that is your 1% increase. So I just wanted to read that out of the book, just to explain to you. You may think that you're not changing much in your day, but you are. So it's a matter of just getting those habits and figuring out how to improve them. So how do your habits change your identity? So it's easy to repeat your bad habits, and obviously small change can compound. So we might have unhealthy habits, we might have unhealthy food, you might procrastinate, you might watch too much TV. And obviously sometimes people are trying to change the wrong thing, or they're trying to change lots of things at once, or they're going to change, like they're just going to give up, like, for example, smoking. I mean, no one smokes anymore. But, that is just something you just can't give up in one day. So you've got to change a little bit, which is that 1%. So basically there's 3 levels of change, which change can occur. You can change your outcomes, what you get. You can change your processes, what you do, or you can change your identity, which is what you believe and who you are. So obviously the most significant change would be changing your identity and what you believe. And we've done a lot of that with obviously the red light stories and green light stories. So that is changing the way you think. And that's like me saying I'm not a morning person and then actually becoming a morning person. So that's it. So you are what you believe. So, that all levels of the change are obviously useful. The direction of change and what you want to achieve leads to the most popular outcome. So your old belief can challenge your outcome actually being achieved. That's why we're looking at these red and green light stories. The more pride you have in your identity, the more effort you will put into changing that habit, and you will fight more to maintain that habit. So task 1, we're just going to take a little piece of paper and we're going to write down 3 good habits that you have. So I don't know if anyone wants to maybe just write them down. We'll just reflect on them at the end in our own time, because I know I am going to race through this because it was a bit of a longer training last time I did it. So just have a quick check-in and say, what are 3 good things that I do? One of my friends had hers where I drink lots of water. I do meditation. I might do gratitude in the morning. Very good things. So moving on from that, basically your goal is to become, so this is the belief workings. So the goal is to become a reader, not to read a book. The goal is to run a marathon, not become a marathon runner. Is not to run a marathon, to become a marathon runner. So what you do is a reflection of what you believe you are, subconsciously or consciously. And to change who you are, you must change what you do. So each time you encourage a peer person, we'll touch on this at the end as well. If you encourage a peer, one of your friends, person you work with, a colleague, you actually become a leader. So we want to all become leaders and we want to help each other achieve these new habits as well. So there are, I'll just get my notes here, how to build a better habit. So, topic number 2. So prove it to yourself by starting with a small change in the right direction. You have a choice. You focus on what you want to achieve, but also who you want to become. So you obviously there's a lot of Tony Robbins books as well, Start a Lot on Belief. And he does those, I think it's where you actually put the rubber band on your hand and you flick yourself when you have that thought or that habit achieved. So you sort of remind yourself and breaks you out of the autopilot saying, oh shit, I'm doing that again. Whether it's, you know, having too many coffees or, you know, bagging yourself in the back of your head, you know, you're just going to remind yourself you don't want to do that. You're going to change that habit. So there are 4 steps. So when you have an action and then you get a reward, you actually form a habit. So a reliable solution to reoccurring problems in our environment. So over time, we repeat this action. So a choice that once required effort, what we want to do is actually make that automatic. So, I mean, there's this thing of brain fatigue where you actually get quite stressed or tired. You feel tired in a day when you're making lots of decisions. So when you have these good habits, they're autopilots. They're going to happen without you having to think about them. So your brain's way of reserving the cognitive load so that you can add attention to more tasks that are beneficial, like, for example, more design, more creative problem solving, and, you know, challenge yourself in new things. So we want to focus on being able to do that by creating some habits that are autopilot. So the next one is the best way to start a new habit. So we have 4 stages of a habit. We have the cue, the craving, the response, and the reward. So I love that. And obviously that's over time. So your cue is your initial behavior. The second one, craving, is the motivational force. So that's your desire. So that's the reason to act. And they did, the book has lots of great examples. There was an example of some rats, and they basically took away, you know, their desire for something, and they actually stopped eating altogether. So they didn't eat and they all starved to death. And they put that desire back in, or then they'd eat again. And they said that they actually put like the sugar and water on their lips when they had this taken away, and they still wanted to drink, but they had no desire to drink. So you actually want to get that craving is a very crucial thing to actually having good habits. And obviously 3 is response. So that is the actual habit or thought or action. And then you have 4, the reward, so the end goal. So basically our body and our mind love to have rewards. So there must be something that's satisfying that comes out of doing something, or something that actually teaches us. And that is sort of teaching us how to remember what's worth remembering. So, you know, that's just that reward kicking in and saying, oh, when I did that, I did feel good. Like, for example, if you're going to the gym, you might get there and you are tired and exhausted, but then you have that good feeling afterwards. And then you've just got to remember about that good feeling rather than the tired, exhausted, or the achiness after, and actually focus on the good feeling. So you get to go again, and realize that it is worth doing. And you do feel good. So we all want to feel good. And obviously the problem phase is your cue and your craving phase. Excuse me. And the problem solving phase is your response and your reward phase. So obviously the rewards teach us what a habit is and how it works and how to improve it. So it's like a neurological feedback loop, and it goes round and round, and then you have an automatic habit once you've got these going. So task 2 is to actually, to the next one, write down 3 bad habits you have. So if you've got a paper and pen, just write them down quickly. So bad habits might be watching too much Netflix. You know, we never get anything done, but it could be a reward. You might do that for something once you've achieved the good habit. You might say, okay, I can watch 30 minutes of Netflix, but I'm going to limit myself to Netflix. And then you're reducing the bad habit and getting good habit at the same time. So we love that. So write down 3 bad habits you have and would like to change. I think that's it for that one. So go back to the 4 stages. That's what I was going to talk about a little bit more. So obviously the 4 laws of behaviour change are the cue, craving, response, and reward. And if you want to change a habit, Like, for example, have a healthy breakfast. Your cue to help change the cue, which will be making it obvious. So you're going to have maybe your shake ready, your ingredients ready, or, all the ingredients just in the cupboard. Have your frozen blueberries, have your stuff ready. Don't make your NutriBullet blender in some weird place you can't find, because that's not going to make the cue to having a healthy breakfast easy. So we're going to change that up. And the opposite of that, to get rid of a bad habit, like if you're not having breakfast and driving to work and getting a donut, that's what I used to do before my beautiful shake. Obviously that's a bad habit. So what you're gonna do is have the shakes and take it with you if you're running late, so that you're not gonna have that stop off to get the donut. So it's just about having the craving is to make it attractive. So make it easy, have stuff ready for you. Your good options are easily available. And obviously the response is all about making it easy as well. So you're going to prep ready for your big breakfast, and then reward, make it satisfying. So chart your success. It's always great to give yourself a pat on the back when you achieve something. And maybe you're not having a shake every day if that's what you want it for. Maybe you're having it every other day. And then you're going to chart your success. And okay, well, I had it 3 days this week, and next week I had 4 days. So you're going to celebrate that success. And then you may even give yourself a big reward if you achieve, like if you haven't done the 30 days before and you always thought you couldn't, maybe you'll give yourself a reward at the end of that, maybe a massage voucher, or go get a pedicure, and so that's your reward for achieving some new habits. So it's just about making it satisfying. So obviously, excuse me, the reverse of that is to get rid of a bad habit. You might make it invisible. So you're going to, hide the Netflix remote, so it makes it hard. Make it invisible, make it unattractive. Remember how much you don't get done when you have the telly on, or even if you've got it on in the background and you get distracted when you're supposed to be doing some work. Make it more difficult. That's your response, and then make it unsatisfying. So every goal is doomed to fail if it goes against the grain of your human nature. So you're going to change the way you're thinking about things as well to make it more natural. For example, if one of your bad habits is you eat too much chocolate, just not a bad thing. We all have it. Your cue would to be not to have chocolate in the house, because it could be the same with wine if you're drinking too many wine. Your craving would be that you needed to go to the shops to get more, which makes it hard. Obviously, if you, for example, we were doing a money workshop, and great way to not spend money that you don't have is just to put your own Visa on hold. So you can't swipe anything, and you have to do another step to go into your bank and turn your Visa back on. If you know you're going to spend money when you don't need to, just turn your Visa off so you can't buy stuff. And obviously, a good way for getting rid of the bad habit of chocolate, you might actually remind yourself, when you get asked that question, what would a healthy person do? Would they eat the chocolate, the whole block, or would they have one? So it's always good to think of that as your reward. What would a healthy person do? And maybe how would I feel if I was healthy? So I love that. Okay, so topic 3 is just a quick one about habit stacking. So I love this. We've got a burger. So we obviously have your burger with your different layers. So what we're going to do is actually habit stack, which is a great way of looking at it, and it makes it simpler. So it's basically to overhaul your habit and make it a bit easier. You might habit stack. So you're going to have, say, for example, you're having too many coffees. Well, you actually do want a coffee because you're thirsty. So when you get a cup of coffee, just get yourself, I've got my fizz here, get yourself a glass of water with your coffee. So you've had your coffee, you've had your water, so you've hydrated. You won't actually feel thirsty as quickly to have another coffee. And also you're getting your hydration in, which coffee sometimes doesn't do that. So that is a good habit stack. I love that one. A lot of the people at work have done this. So I did this training at work, and a lot of them just love the training, and they've started some new healthy habits, and we're sharing them. But I love that. So every action that is a habit becomes a cue. For example, you go to the toilet, you wash your hands. That is an easy habit. You do automatically now. But when you're a little kid, you used to get reminded to wash your hands. I'm still reminding mine to wash their hands, my children. Yes, and obviously it's just about having those automatic. So what if we use this principle that triggers your next behavior to your advantage. That is why we're habit stacking. So we're going to identify a current behavior that you do every day and then stack a new one on it, like the coffee and the water. Yeah, just like the burger with the cheese or the salad, this is habit stacking. So you may have your breakfast shake added into your new waking up early habit. So you're going to wake up early, you're going to make your shake, you're going to take it with you to work. Then you've got new habit for the waking up early, but you've also gained a brilliant habit of having a healthy breakfast. And the worst thing about going into your day, not having breakfast, you're just going to be hungry and you're going to eat bad food. So what else could I do as an example? So for exercise, you might habit stack. When you take off your work shoes, you put on your runners. And how could you do that? So you might wake up in the morning and make your bed. A lot of us are doing that because it gives you a big tick. It makes you feel good in the morning. You've got up, you made your bed, you've already achieved something. You know, that's a great start to the day. But to habit stack with that habit, you might put your runners, maybe not on your pillow. You might put them on your end of your bed, ready for when you get home, so they're easy to find to put on, instead of just putting your UGG boots on. And I am wearing them now. I've been painting today. You know, instead of putting your UGG boots on, put your runners on when you get home and take your work clothes off. So then you're going to be, even if you stay home and you don't go for a walk or a run, then it's a lot easier to then start the walking, taking the dog or going out of the garden, having a walk around the garden instead of just sitting on the couch. And I mean, we've all had busy days. We do need our downtime, but fresh air gives you so much good energy. It's brilliant. Yeah, so what could be another option for exercise if that was a good habit you wanted to try? When I pull out my workout gear, when I put on my workout gear, if I'm staying home, instead of putting your pajamas on, you put out your workout gear and then you do 10 squats. Carly, I can hear you love your squat. She's been doing the bend up glow and squat for 30 days. I'm feeling amazing. So, you know, it is just about doing some sort of exercise. You don't have to go to the gym for an hour. One of the guys in the book, he changed his habit of wanting to exercise and he'd take a cab to work. So what he did was make the cab take him to the gym, and he used to go to the gym for 5 minutes, and he did it for over a week, just 5 minutes, and then went to work. And he actually then said to himself, well, I'm ready. Why don't I just do a half-hour workout? You know, but he started with the 5 minutes or even just the trip to the gym, you know, to get that as the habit. And then he builds on that habit to make it even better. So I love that. Yeah, so I've talked about the getting out of bed. Okay. So I love this quote. The tendency to follow the path of least resistance guarantees your failure in life. Hell yeah. So if you just want to be doing nothing and just take the easy road, you know, you could still have a great day, but, you know, would it be inspiring? Would it be achieving all the things you wanted to do? It's just about challenging ourselves. Okay, so topic 4 is the 2-minute rule. So what is a new habit you'd like to start? So this 2-minute rule is the best because it stops you procrastinating. So as I said, we're going to start something small and then build on it. We're going to start creating a new routine about a new habit, and we're just going to do it for 2 minutes. So, you know, habits are a bit like an entrance ramp to the highway. You get down that path, and before you know it, you're speeding along the highway and you can't go anywhere else. So what we're doing is trying to get you down onto that ramp so that you're almost starting, like putting the runners on instead of the UGG boots, and then you're going to be off and running. So some choices definitely are a fork in the road, difference between a good day and a bad day. And the key to this 2-minute rule is even when you know you should start small, generally people are starting too big. So that's why it's just about taking any new habit should only take less than 2 minutes to start. And I know a lot of people that aren't good readers, they started this habit of reading more just by putting their book on their pillow as they got up in the morning, and then before they went to bed, just reading 1 page. So, I mean, that may take you 2 minutes. And then obviously you can build on that by reading 10 pages, if that's your goal. Yeah, so I mean, you might, instead of sitting on the couch and not doing anything, you might fold a pair of socks. That'll take less than 2 minutes. And then you might get into the habit of every night before you sit on the couch, you'll fold all the washing. And that's not a very exciting habit, but you know, we do have to get these things done. And obviously reading in bed before, a book before bed. Yeah, taking out your yoga mat as a habit when you get home from work. Find it, take it out, put it in the middle of the floor. And then, you know, you're starting to work towards perhaps doing 30 minutes yoga or like a 10-minute. You could easily get a 10-minute exercise session online these days. There's some brilliant ones that don't cost a lot of money. So anyone can do 2 minutes of something. And it's just about prioritizing your success, and you are the only person who can. So I know I've gone a bit over time, so I'm just wrapping this up. Obviously, the last topic is that motivation is overrated. So basically, your environment is the key. What you see, your visible cues, how you feel, your peers and your culture, but you are the average of the 5 people you hang around with. So if you hang around with people that aren't doing much, you're just going to end up not doing much. So it is just about getting that environment well and happy. And, you know, they use an example in the book about having water available in the workplace. So if you see it everywhere, you're more likely to have water. But if that's not your environment you're in, you're just going to drink Coke. If you have Coke fridge that's just there, you're going to drink the Coke. So it's about changing that environment for the better. You know, taking your water bottle to work, sitting it on your desk. It's a lot easier if your environment has your water already than if you're actually got to have an effort to go and get that water. So there is some beautiful stories in the book, but I won't go into them just now because we don't have a lot of time. There's an incredible chess family, and they talk about, you know, your environment and how, you know, surrounded by clever people, your IQ actually improves. And I think that's lovely. He's got great statistics on that. Yeah, so just about accountability. The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. Love that. So your action plan, obviously you've written down. If you haven't, you can always just do this now. Take a screenshot, list your 3 good habits, list your 3 poor habits, find a habit and you want to improve or introduce this new habit, and schedule it into your work day or your, you know, home life, getting up early and doing it just before you get ready for work. And obviously step 4 is just about finding a self-accountability partner to help you do that. That might be just ringing your friend and saying, I'm going for a walk after work tonight, you want to come? That would keep you accountable because you have to go. They're going to turn up at your house. Or just get them to check in with you and see where you went for a walk. And that just gives you that extra step of, oh, she's going to ring me and I haven't done it. Like, so you can actually just feel a bit more accountable to your actions. And all the people on this call are willing and happy to help. So reach out if you need any help with anything. And vice versa, if you've got someone helping you stay accountable, you could do that for them as well. Ask them what habit they'd like to improve and how you could help them. So basically, obviously you have one life, that time will pass. Why not make the most of it? So obviously that statement again, as we spoke about in the beginning, where do you see yourself in 5 years? If you change nothing, you are already there. So thank you guys. Thanks for listening. Appreciate your help. I hope all my IT stuff has gone okay and I can afford this. But yeah, thank you all for joining in and appreciate you guys so much. The 5-second rule is the other book I would recommend if you're having trouble getting started. Obviously start with why. That is the fundamental of any new habit. Why are you doing it? And if you ask yourself why, and then just keep asking yourself why. Like, why do I want to get up early? Oh, because I need to get more shit done. Why do you need to get more shit done? Because I just want to have a better life. Kind of end up at that real why. Like, what is the reason why? So it's always great to ask you that. And yeah, you do get your first Audible book free if you haven't got Audible. And you just pay a subscription, I think, from then if it does work for you. But you do get a free book every month, so it's definitely worth it. But yeah, that's all I had. I think Vanessa's just jumped into the meeting room. All right, I'll stop share. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming in and joining us, and I'll let you guys all go. Thank you.